So Nintendo is making some very interesting changes to their online service ahead of the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, specifically killing off a couple programs, one of which have been around since 2016, and just confirming that these will not be rolling forward any further, or at least one of them kind of still being around, but you can't use it for Switch 2 games. We are specifically talking about My Nintendo Gold Points, which is the one that will just be ending altogether, although we may have a reason for why that's happening due to one insider chiming in on it, and it aligns with what I think Nintendo's doing as well, so we're going to cover that. Then the game voucher program is sticking around in some way, shape, and form, but you are not going to be able to use that game voucher on Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games anymore. If you're unfamiliar, Nintendo Switch Online members can currently purchase a $100 voucher that gives you 2 full price first party Nintendo titles, aka you can get a $20 discount on 2 $60 games as opposed to buying them individually if you are an NSO member and you buy the games digitally. So this will obviously be something that some people are going to panic and say Nintendo's taking away these discounts from their customers and it's a greed move. I tend to have a little bit of a different mindset around that. We don't know what kind of things they're revamping for Switch 2 yet, and maybe the communication is the biggest issue on this front right now, because Nintendo's talking about taking things away before talking about what they may be doing or adding into their next generation hardware in terms of online perks and benefits. But that's what I want to dive into today, so we'll get on the same page with all of this information. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And I want to first kick it off right over at VGC, where you can see their write-up around it, which says Nintendo is ending My Nintendo Gold Points Switch eShop reward scheme. Players will no longer be able to earn gold points when buying games on the Switch eShop. The company launched its My Nintendo Rewards program in 2016 alongside the new Nintendo account system, allowing players to earn gold points and platinum points, which could be exchanged for physical and digital goods. While platinum points are earned by performing various tasks, gold points are earned by buying software and can then be spent on discounts for future eShop purchases. While platinum points will continue, Nintendo has now announced that gold points will end next month. On March 25th, 2025, the ability to earn gold points will end, it said in a statement on the My Nintendo website. After this date, players will no longer be able to earn gold points when purchasing digital software, either on the eShop or via a download code. According to the statement, players who already have gold points after March 25th will still be able to use them before they expire. Gold points are valid for 12 months from the date they were earned. So the long and short of this is that between now and March 25th, 2025, it is the last chance that you have to earn gold points, and you have essentially 12 months to use them from when they were earned. So anything going forward on eShop purchases in terms of the gold points discount will just be useless to you after March 25th. But you have the year to redeem them towards other stuff. If you're unfamiliar with gold points, it's basically something that accumulates in the background as you purchase digital goods from Nintendo. Even the physical goods, you can actually register those games and receive gold points for them. I did not know that for the longest time and was missing out on a lot of that stuff, but you do have a window in when you can redeem those. So, your old library of games, you likely can't get gold points for anymore. And it's not a drastic discount, but it does add up over time. If you are constantly buying Nintendo Switch software physically or digitally, if you're redeeming each of those for gold points or digital, I guess it happens automatically. You're slowly building up discounts that can be used in the background. Eventually, if you haven't checked for a while, you might be able to get half off or even a full price game discount potentially, depending on how many gold points you have. And there's no good way to spin this particular news story for Nintendo. This is just all literally them taking away the program, not announcing anything else in its replacement, other than platinum points will stick around, and those are a little bit different. You can earn them for things like the profile icons and more like digital goods redemption, as opposed to just like a cash discount towards games. But you do have an insider by the name of Nashweedle who, some stuff absolutely seems like they have inside info, other things not so much. But their 2 cents on this, which does actually align with what I am thinking Nintendo's doing here, they tweeted out the following, which says, official announcement of the death of gold points. Nintendo is restructuring My Nintendo and Nintendo Switch Online. As far as I know, they intend to create a new benefits program, not only linked to purchases, that will also absorb platinum points in the future. So again, changes are coming here because we are going from one generation to another, and you shouldn't expect everything that is in its current form on Switch Online to ultimately roll forward and be exactly the same on Switch 2. I think there's going to be some distinctive differences between these two services, and while Nintendo Switch Online at its core will roll forward, the exact programs and benefits and discounts that Nintendo offered in their current form on the Nintendo Switch generation might not be looking exactly like that in the Switch 2 generation. And whether or not it's something equivalent to gold points coming back, or if that's just being shelved altogether and there's a different type of reward, we will speculate on what Nintendo might be adding into the service a little bit further towards the end of the video. But I want to first talk about the second program that is changing, not going away, which also VGC has a write-up on, where you can see Nintendo Switch game vouchers offer won't count for Switch 2 games. Nintendo says players can buy 2 first-party Switch games at a discounted price, but the Switch 2 games won't be included. So all you need to know about this is that right now, the voucher program currently, if you were buying a $60 or $70 game, for example, we will go through the list of eligible voucher games here. You have to be a Nintendo Switch Online member. You have the ability to buy a $100 voucher. That gets you 2 full-price first-party Nintendo pieces of software. Now, there's a bad deal that you can actually get yourself into with this voucher, where you literally buy MEO, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, and Endless Ocean Luminous, and that's just $100 full retail, so there's really no advantage for you to select those 2 games as your voucher redemptions. But Tears of the Kingdom, on the other hand, which is $69.99 full retail, and that probably plays into why Nintendo is doing this, mind you. You get that, and you get Super Mario RPG, another $60 regular retail game. Well, at that point, you would be at $130 USD, and you only spent $100 to redeem both of those pieces of software. So a nice benefit for NSO members that do prefer to build out their libraries digitally. This is going away. The specific wording is for Switch 2 games. So it sounds like voucher program will be around, but it's going to completely not support anything in terms of Switch 2 exclusive content. AKA the new Mario Kart, the new 3D Mario, the new Smash Bros, whatever that fresh generational leap is that Nintendo doesn't put out to the current family of Switch systems is not going to be supported in the voucher program. And that, to me, is the biggest signal that I think, if you weren't already convinced, that Nintendo Switch 2 games are going to $70 full retail. We saw it with Tears of the Kingdom. We saw that test. We kind of saw Nintendo read the room around how much would people, be happy to pay for a full mainline 3D Zelda game, and we saw them price that at $69.99. It's a first-party, current generation Nintendo Switch piece of software, when all the other pieces of software up to that point from a first-party perspective were priced at $59.99. Nintendo has already pushed the envelope to $69.99. Now, according to their own comments, they price software off of what they believe each individual game is worth. However, I would like to point out that I don't believe it's necessarily that. It's not about it being worth it like 70 hours of gameplay. It's about how popular is the IP and what can we as a for-profit company actually charge for this piece of software and get money back for, because we had games like Metroid Prime Remastered for $40, which was just a steal, and then you have like Luigi's Mansion 2 HD or Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and those are $60 games. And if you argue about the amount of work that was put into those remasters versus Metroid Prime Remaster, you know that at some point Nintendo is just charging what they believe they can successfully get from the consumers for their first party software, and that's how they're going to price the games. But it will be a standard rule of thumb, I believe, in the Switch 2 generation to see that $69.99 price point. Nice. Not the standard $59.99 that we see for most first-party software nowadays. Now, does that mean that some of the smaller projects in scope, maybe your 2D platformer games or the next 2D Metroid, might still be sold at something like a $59.99 price point? That is possible. Nintendo will still probably have some variance in how they price their software, and it won't be uniform across the board, but I do believe that they will go to that standard pricing for Mario, Zeldas, and all their big AAA first-party software going forward on the Switch 2 generation to $69.99. And AKA, that is just probably a little bit too aggressive of a discount for them to offer for the voucher program. So 2 games at $100, and if you're getting $70 games each, that's a $40 savings to get them digitally as an NSO member with the game voucher program. That's what Nintendo is ending here. And again, speculation is all out and about on what they might revamp this program into, if they change it at all. Maybe you have a $120 voucher for 2 Nintendo Switch games. They could do some stuff like that and pull some levers that we don't know about yet. All of these changes are essentially going into effect for the start of the Switch 2 generation, and I think you should expect to see Nintendo do some different things this time around. It's not that they're just totally taking away discounts and screwing over the consumer. I feel like we're going to see a different lineup, a revamp of Nintendo Switch Online benefits, and some of those might include different pieces of software discounts. I really hope we see them maybe even go the route of an occasional free piece of software that's not just tied to a 7-day trial, but you have the ongoing competition subscription services kind of supporting some additional free download games, sometimes third party, sometimes first party in-house. I don't think Nintendo gives away much of their first party software, but if you had 1 or 2 pieces of software that are even more of a simple eShop, download right now, but you can add that to your library and you always have access to it as long as you maintain your subscription for Nintendo Switch Online. I think things like that really make sense, and maybe that's where some of the gold points discounts will ultimately go towards. We're going to start getting free first or third party software occasionally, added into the online service. I don't think you're going to see too much of that at the $20 annual price tier membership, but you talk about 60 and even some of the price increases that may be coming for Nintendo Switch Online that have already hit in some regions of the world, and that I do think Nintendo will probably do with the launch and the revamp of the service going forward. It's not out of the realm of possibility, in my opinion, to justify a higher annual cost than $60 and also throw in some games here and there that you can just download and add to your library. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I think some big changes for NSO are coming, and this is just a step 1 phasing out of the current lineup of what we see Nintendo offer as member benefits that we are watching unfold right now. But let me know in the comments down below what your take is on both the different programs kind of having this end date and or change to them. Gold points, are you sad to see them go away? Do you think this is Nintendo being anti-consumer and just taking away an additional benefit at the end of the day? Or do you think that Nintendo's reworking the program and we'll likely see them come up with something equivalent and or better in the Nintendo Switch 2 generation? And what would you like to see that be? A free game download per month if you're an online member? Do you think there's something else unique that they could do, different sale discounts specifically for their online memberships, like Sony does as well with like PlayStation Plus? If you're a PlayStation Plus member, sometimes you get a bigger percentage discount on a sale for digital games than other members would get. Do you think Nintendo might tiptoe into the idea of something like that? And what do you think about the game voucher program not working for Switch 2 exclusive software? Do you think it's that $70 price point like I am thinking it will be, or do you think that there's another reason that Nintendo might be ending these Switch 1 generation programs that we've seen them stick to so far? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.